This is my table covered with Lego bricks, and today I'm going to challenge myself to turn them into a minifig scale recreation of the house I grew up in with all the different rooms and details. So with all that said, Lego. Now before I could build the house, I want to build my family that could live in it. So I made myself with Lego with this very accurate green jacket, my sister who has this bow in her hair, and my parents. And now for some background. My childhood house was built a long time ago in 1906 and was used as a farmhouse with different farm animals, horses, and a lot of land. There was also a brook behind the house that you could use to go fishing. So to start, I actually had to put down some green base plates and then had to build the base of the house. And creating a floor plan that is minifigure scale is not the easiest thing in the world, because the house also had a basement, but it flooded a lot because of the brook. So I'm going to just start at ground level and raise it slightly to represent the basement. Now all I had to do was build a solid border around the house, and now I could start on the different rooms. Before I do that, how did I even get to this house? 70 years after the house was built, my grandparents bought it and moved in to start their family together. And another 40 years later, my family moved in. The stairs used to be brick built, but later on they had wood ones built on top of them, so that's what I built. My grandfather also planted some pine trees around the front door. They grew up to be really big and lived a really long time. Now all I had to build was the front entrance and include a red door piece, because I feel like it would have been incomplete without a red door, but it cost $12 to get this piece because it was only ever in this Western train chase set from Toy Story. Then I went inside and built the front staircase, which would lead up the stairs. And something I always did was on the railing, I'd slide my Woody toy down it, like in the movie Toy Story. Also, did I mention I was a massive Toy Story and Muppet fan? I always thought I was like Andy from Toy Story. Which reminds me, I have to build the first real room, the living room, which includes a fireplace, this couch, and this secretary I built, which recreates this one that has been in my family for over 100 years. This room is where I first watched the Star Wars movies, celebrated holidays with all my family members, and maybe dressed up as Darth Vader. And in here I even got some of my first Lego sets, and even some fake ones, which I'm still finding in my collection years later. In this room, I also hosted my very own Muppet Club, where I would do all kinds of puppet shows for my mom, dad, and sister to watch.
It's the Muppet Show, where a very special guest, Mr. Jack Black.
The next room I have to build was the den. This was where I spent most of my time, because it's where I kept most of my Lego sets. It's also where our dogs Sadie and Darcy spent most of their time. And Lego just released a set with a build that looks a lot like Darcy, so I'm gonna build it. Oh, it's so cute. Now that that's done, I actually have to build the room. First, I put in the blue carpet and then the desk my parents used for work. And on the other side, I set up a table where I would build different Lego sets, like the starter room. I also built the shelves that me and my sisters had sets on, like this one with a miniature version of the Wall-E set and a mini Benny spaceship, and the other side had my sister's sets from Lego Friends, like the Tangled Tower, the horse stable, and the cruise ship. But once I saw Star Wars for the first time, everything changed, because now I wanted all the cool sets. And I started with this one. I feel like this is a little big for this room, so I'm gonna use a stud to represent it. These things got slightly more ridiculous, with TIE fighters and even the big Millennium Falcon, which I got and still have. But most importantly, one of my favorite sets was the Ewok Village, which my grandma got for me and is still one of my favorite sets. I'll post a lot of my Legos on an Instagram page named Puppet Master L, because I also made real puppets in here. This room was one of my favorites, but now I have to move on to the other side of the house with the kitchen. First, I needed to start by building some of the simple appliances like the stove, a sink, and a microwave, as well as this refrigerator, which you can't actually open. And across from that was this island where I would usually sit to eat breakfast, and I loved fruit, so I had a lot of it. And over to the left, I built a small nook where we had a washer and dryer to do laundry. And in front of the kitchen was a dining table where I built a dining table and some chairs, and this is where we would sit as a family and eat dinner together. But now I think I'm ready to take things to the next level, literally. I started with building the landing at the center of the level. This gives you some hallway space to travel to all the different rooms. And we're gonna start with the first room, my parents. I started by building this big and detailed king-size bed with different color throw pillows and these two lamps. I tried fitting in a dresser, but there wasn't a ton of room because of the door. And I remember one time vibing in this room with Sadie. Also attached was a bathroom, and the only one in this build, where I built both a toilet seat and the gold sink. It wasn't actual gold, unfortunately. And the next room I had to build was my sister's bedroom. And I have to build a couple of things, like her bed, which had a ton of colors, and these heart-shaped pillows I made using these 1x1 bricks. I also had to build this desk, which used to be my mom's, and even a TV. I also assembled this small shelf to hold her American Girl dolls, which she would play with a lot of the time. And she would also make videos with her friends doing slime and the Bean Boozled Jelly Bean Challenge. Next, I have to build my bedroom, but I wanted to go to my backyard and attempt to build the deck, which was also built by my grandfather. It had some chairs and a table, as well as a grill that we would use for family cookouts. And the good thing about a deck is you could fit a lot of people on it. And we also had a backyard where the dog could roam around and have a good time. And now that that's wrapped up, we have one section left, my bedroom. This is where I spent a lot of time using my imagination to make up the craziest lore I could imagine with all my toys. I would set up all my characters and make a collection video for a YouTube channel that didn't even exist. I was largely inspired by EvanTube HD, but we'll get to that later. Because I still have to build my epic bunk bed. This thing was freaking epic. It had cabinets everywhere, it had stairs that you could climb up, and the stairs were drawers, and I absolutely loaded this thing with all my toys. Which is why I put down a bunch of these micro figures that represent all the different toys we had. And I have so many Lego characters of actual toys I did have, like Kermit the Frog, SpongeBob, Woody, Buzz and the Gang, Mickey and Goofy, Captain Hook, Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Wally, and an absolute metric ton of Muppets. But there was one character I liked the most, and it was the Swedish Chef. I don't know why, I just thought he was funny, and now he's a main character on the channel. Oh yeah. Now this room was gonna be kind of crowded if I left all these guys here, so we're gonna use the micro figures. One year I won a goldfish at a carnival I named Big Orange, and we got him a whole tank. He was an epic fish, and I had so much fun playing around with him and taking him out of the tank and abusing him and then putting him back. And somehow he lived to be 7 years old, which I think has to be some kind of world record. I also recently found a video of me pretending to play a claw machine that I made out of a cardboard box, so I recreated that in Lego. I also made a bunch of the minifigures into puppets because I had always wanted to be a puppeteer growing up as my job, and I guess now I kind of am. I would take sewing machines and all these materials and make my very own puppets, but heck, I had a good time with it. And they're also probably where I got my ideas for cursed Lego minifigures like these. At the time, I also had wanted to be a YouTuber, and I filmed a bunch of videos because of EvanTube HD, who made a bunch of videos back then and I was inspired by. We were both the same age at the time, and our videos did vary in quality, and oh wait, 1 second. So I need to get your opinion. What do you think about this sucker?
That's sick. No, it looks really good. Looks like a real house, shrunk down, so I think you did the job.
All right, now all I have to do is finish the roof, which isn't super hard, and left room for a chimney. And the house is almost done, but not fully because I still have to do the outside. I started with making stone pavers in the front and left some room for these stud hopper pieces so that way you could place minifigures down. And now you have a fully functioning entrance, but I still have to do some of the greenery. And making these drop down trees is not super easy. I tried to mess with a bunch of different build strategies, and this is what I came up with. What was easy though was putting down all the mulch beds, and filling them wasn't the hardest thing in the world. I made a bunch of different bush designs and things like this that looks pretty good. But the thing I like the most about these Lego houses is you can make them seasonal. Like for a cold winter day, you can make it look like it snowed outside. And I even made a little snow hill for when I would go sledding down this 2-foot little hill with my friends. You could also build snowmans or make snow angels. I had the best snow days, and when you would go inside after and there would be a fireplace on, that was the best feeling of all time. Almost as good as when during the summer the ice cream truck would come and stop by and you had to get a SpongeBob popsicle. Those things were awesome. And another cool thing I did was set it up to some other residential style houses, and this makes it feel like it really fits into a small local community, and that's what I love so much about this house build. And now it's officially completed, so let's get my family's reaction.
Oh my god!
The landscaping never looked so good.
It's so amazing how accurate it is. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god, so much like it. No, it's good.
Now, I haven't lived in this house for many years now, but filming this video and finding all the old footage brought back a lot of really great memories about my childhood. Growing up there was a great privilege that especially hits home now that I'm graduated and moving to Florida. And what's cool is I got to make that kid's dream to become a YouTuber come true. I'm a big believer that if you want to make your dreams come true, get a goal in mind and get focused. It's not going to be easy, but it's gonna be worth it. And just make sure to appreciate the support structure you have and everyone who helped you there along the way. With that said, God bless and stay awesome.